today I want to talk about purpose-driven business development. I think by default, a lot of the time we try and develop business, and I don't subscribe to that thought process. What I subscribe to is building or developing a high-performance building company by design, not by default. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. Welcome to you if you're watching this on YouTube. My name's Max. I'm the CEO of Smith & Sons. Look, we really want to continue on with our objective to build high-performance building companies. And, I know you do too. And really high-performance, even subcontractor companies, that's what we want to do. And I think there's a lot of things that do overlap between a building company and a subcontractor business. Today, this would be definitely one of them. This was actually a presentation that I did to our staff at the beginning of our team meeting yesterday. And I took a photo of the notes that were on the whiteboard. And I just thought, you know what, this is not just something for us at corporate office. It's definitely something that could be used by our general contractors. And certainly, I think you'll get some benefit out of it as well. So really, this is just tips for builders that want to build a high-performance building company. We're not going to be talking about construction efficiency. We're not going to be talking about, how to quote better and all that sort of stuff, although there is definitely some relevance to those subjects. But, today I want to talk about being, I want to talk about purpose-driven business development. And so, I think by default, a lot of the time we try and develop business, and I don't subscribe to that thought process. What I subscribe to is building or developing a high-performance building company by design, not by default. And so if you're in that position where you go, Max, I'm not doing it by default, I'm bloody well trying, then, hats off to you. I'm glad you're in the room, and hopefully we can move towards an outcome that's going to be better for you this financial year or this calendar year in your business. Couple of things that I introed the conversation with my staff yesterday. We've got several layers or levels. I've got several layers or levels of obligation as far as stakeholders. Obviously, we've got retail customers. We've got obligations there across the board with all of our franchise general contractors. I've got obligations to the franchisees that have invested in this business and in this brand. I've got obligations to corporate staff to maintain good relationships with those guys, with the team, and ensure we're getting good output and we're delivering it at the highest level. And of course, I've got 3 business partners that expect me to dominate. So, I do go to bed more often than not thinking about one or all of those aspects of my responsibility. And so, really it's like, okay, so, if you're a general contractor, you might have obligations to your retail customers and to your the guys and the gals maybe that you've got working for you. So you don't have, maybe the level of obligation or responsibility that I do, but you still have some. Just to kick off, I want you to think about a couple of areas where you can support the objective of purpose-driven business development. I want to talk to you quickly or bring to your attention operational brilliance, empathetic excellence, and innovative disruption. And so, they're different aspects of, I talk about when you do sales, you've got to sell with empathy. Obviously, we talk about thinking outside of the box. And of course, when you go to, the building site, you want to deliver the product in a very efficient and profitable manner. And so, I talk about operational brilliance, I talk about empathetic excellence, and I talk about innovative disruption. Delivering expeditiously and efficiently and profitably, selling or, handling yourself as the leader of your business in a very empathetic manner, whether you're doing sales with retail customers, whether you're dealing with subcontractors and vendors, or whether you're dealing with your own staff. Now, empathy doesn't mean weakness. Matter of fact, it's a strength. When you can understand what's important to them, make it important to you, and you can end up at what I call a no-lose outcome, then you as an operator, whether you're selling to retail customers, whether you're negotiating with subs and suppliers, or whether you're busy discussing recruitment, processes within your business with new staff, then I think that's a winner chicken dinner. So that just sets the scene. That's what we're looking at doing. Now, the guts of the conversation today, we talk about bottom line. I often talk about how culture, we've got to understand the power of culture in your business, and you've got to be a really good talent scout, and you've got to understand the importance and the impact that it has on your bottom line. And when I say the words bottom line, you automatically think about profit. And I want to talk about real quick in a few minutes 3 bottom lines. The first one I'm not going to talk a lot about. It really does, these 3 bottom lines come back to the thought I had in one of the previous episodes about having an abundance mindset and not a scarcity mindset. I think it's important that we start with that, because that's our own mindset, and really our biggest challenge is ourselves. If we can get that sorted out and we can get ourselves fairly straight, then the outworking of the business development side of things will come to us in time if we're diligent and we're disciplined in that regard. So there's 3 things we want to look at. The first thing is operational profit. We always want to, as business owners, we need to be generating a profit. If we're not doing that, we're not surviving, and certainly if we're not doing it at a high level, we're not scaling up our business, because we're not actually creating any extra finance that we can reinvest in the business and move forward and move ahead and move up. The second thing is we want to, as a business, the other bottom line that we talk about is we want to produce or do good things for people to talk about. So now we're starting to move away from finance, and now we're starting to move into a different aspect of business development. And then the other thing that we're going to chat about is the positive and social impact, and that how our employees are very much an important part of our business development process. So, look, we're going to go, number 1, operational profit. If you're not making money, you're losing money. If you're losing money, you're going to be out of business. So my advice is to go and make a profit. But we're not going to really dig deep on that one. You get the picture pretty quick. Okay, so when we're talking about the other aspects of how do we build value in the eyes of our customers that are actually going to pay us a dividend, when we talk about developing a business that gives us a good gross profit, that's essentially means we've worked this much and we've made money. That's great. What we really want to do is we want to start building a profit margin into our, let's call it our social reputation, or our reputation amongst our marketplace. And so, there's a few things we really want people to talk about it. I was saying to the team yesterday, it's like, people talk about the positive things that happen to them very rarely. But the minute you get cut off in traffic, or you get the wrong milk with your coffee, or whatever the case may be, you lose your freaking mind. And so, we've got to work hard. We get very few positive feedback things, on the internet, whether it's Facebook or Google reviews, without some level of prompting. We've kind of got to go and ask for that. It doesn't come very naturally. Whereas if you look at a bit of a rant and rave page on your Facebook, people love to more often than not go full-blown negative, because they've been offended, they've been insulted, they've been let down, and they just want the world to know about all of the crap that's in their closet. And to be honest, it's so depressing when you just flick onto that page. Now, the flip side of that page is that there is some people that are going, hey, give me a rave about a good building company. And of course, that's why I keep a bit of a keen eye on that page. But the challenge comes back to us as builders. What is the community investment that we're making? Is there charities within our ecosystem that we can support? And are we doing things that have an environmental impact that we're reducing? Now, I'm not a tree hugger. I'm not the guy that is a massive, environmentalist or whatever. But I do understand that there's definitely things that we can do on a small scale that obviously have a positive impact. But there's some things that you might know of in your area, in your ecosystem, that do have a major impact. And, some of those things that we do, the community investment, we sponsor hockey teams. You can go and do that within your community. You can find out if there's a little league there that you can support. There might be charities that mean a lot to you that you can go in. We want people to be able to look at the brand, and this is what we focus on as a corporate brand particularly, is that we want to make sure that we are known not just for doing business with the community, but we're also in a position where we're giving back, and that we are reinvesting some of those profits that we make back into the community. We want people to talk about some of the wonderful things that we're doing. We don't just need people getting all negative on us when we occasionally drop the ball, or one of the operators doesn't deliver the experience perhaps that the clients are expecting. Our object all the time from the get-go, and when you sit in training with us, we always, when we hit that sales that sales component. We talk about how we want to convert or take, customers and convert them into raving fans. And this doesn't just happen by default. It's something that we, from the first, like I said, in training, in their initial training, we'll talk about this subject. And so when they're having the first phone call and they're talking to prospective clients on the phone, in the back of their mind, they're saying, my goal is to convert this person from just an inquiry to a customer and then to a raving fan. And so, we talk about doing a lot of the work up front to remove the friction, which really creates drag and heat throughout the building process and can undermine the relationship and the happiness between the builder and the client, so that at the back end we can get a video testimonial. And if you go to smithandsons.ca, you'll see probably a dozen, video testimonials that we've done with our clients. I think we've done a dozen. We did a dozen in 2021. And so, it's not something that we just talk about. It's something that we execute off the back of. And, the amount of inquiries that we get on a monthly basis, what I call a forecast build value for those, those inquiries is substantial. Even in the early parts of January, I think we've got 40 or so inquiries with a forecast build value of, $4 million. So, we get a lot of feedback from our, from people that inquire that say, hey, we've seen good customer reviews and things like that. So we've got to work hard at building or developing that reputation. And really what you're talking about, what I've just alluded to, is essentially what Smith & Sons reputation is. That's really what it comes down to. Digital is really forecasting or is broadcasting who we are as an individual, as individuals or a group of individuals, what our core values are, what means a lot to us, what we want to provide and what we present to clients throughout the build process and things like that. So, we do need people to think about the good things that we're doing, and we need them to be able to talk about the good things as well, because word of mouth is a powerful lead generation tool, but really, I think digital or Facebook or Instagram or whatever we're doing in the way of Google AdWords is word of mouth on steroids. Because ultimately, I think where we're going, for me as an individual, us as corporate business owners, even the staff, they understand the power of legacy over currency. If you're just working at your place of work for $1, that soon loses its shine. You'll go through the honeymoon phase, and then of course you're just punching a clock. So we talk a little bit about happiness within that, and I think the reason it's important to me as a business owner to ensure that my staff are happy doing what they're doing is that then flows out to the rest of the group. The fish rots from the head back. The speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. If you are somebody that is not happy as a person in general, then I've said this before, your shit's broken. You've got to figure out what's going wrong and really focus and really look at what you need to be doing with your life and how you're contributing in general to humanity. And so that really brings me to my third point. So first point was operational profit. The second thing is we've got to have a business where people are saying good things about our business. We've got to demonstrate why they should talk about and give them the opportunity to make those comments. The third thing is what we want to do is create a positive social impact. More specifically, what I'm talking about is actually within our staff, our team here at corporate office. And so for you, it's going to be, the guys and gals on the tools, possibly the folks that are in your administration department, within the office, in your sales area as well. And so to deliver or make a positive social impact, the employees have got to be the right types of people. They are the carriers of the mandate that the business is trying to put forward and the mission that we're trying to achieve. And so for me personally, I'm on a bit of a mission to attract, to equip and reward. So, for me, when I'm recruiting and I'm in that phase, I want to attract the right people. I want to give them the right equipment, and I want to give them the rewards. So, the attracting good talent is hit and miss. We try and minimize the miss by the way that we put the ads together when we're recruiting, and we do some recruitment via networks as well. Equipping, please don't bring people into your business and then nickel and dime, the kind of infrastructure that you put around them. I think a lot of my team will sort of bring something to my attention. All I say is send me the link, because we all love shopping on Amazon, don't we? And so I just, and this is the thing, for me as a carpenter by trade and a qualified builder, we know that tools are super important. It creates so much leverage if we're using a sharp blade. All the carpenters are nodding their heads, so everyone gets that. And so, we do invest heavily in equipment. We do invest heavily in things that are going to make our job easier to do, to execute, and then to deliver a high-quality product at the end of the day. And, of course, everyone, and we had our awards ceremony with all of our general contractors and our staff there a month or so ago. And the reward part of it is super important. I'm not just talking about a monetary, I've said at that evening that a lot of us will work for a paycheck, but we'd all die for recognition. Everyone wants to be pat on the back for the work that they've done. They want to know that, they're contributing at a great level. And so, we want to make sure that we don't just attract good talent and don't just give them the good tools. We want to make sure that we reward them in all areas as best as we can. I think you've got to understand that rewarding financially too is a big part of your business development plan. And then again, you need to be able to, you sell better, you can scale quicker, demonstrate the value. And what you'll find is you'll be able to put a little bit more profit in the bank, which you can then reinvest in all areas of your business. The other thing we want to do with regards to positive social impact, we want to encourage and support our staff to achieve difficult but realistic objectives. I talked about having goals or having objectives that were not out of sight, but were certainly out of reach. I think, I even got a lecture from my creative director this morning that we've got to be operating outside of our comfort zone. And, it's an easy thing to say, but to be able to live out there is certainly a challenge. We always slump back into our, rut, and we do our normal things, and then we wonder why we don't get results. And so, I think having difficult but realistic objectives, I think the right people respond appropriately. People that say, yep, that seems to be quite a hill to climb, but, I look forward to the challenge. It's funny that I love to watch a lot of documentaries. I would say that I'm categorically I'm addicted to documentaries. And a lot of it's got to do with looking at things that have happened in history and looking at some of the factors that went into either the success or the failure, because they're geared both ways, and then taking out of that things that I can actually use, things that sort of put a stone in my shoe and get me to think about doing business differently. And one of the guys, or one of the documentaries, or the several documentaries around the SEAL teams, and I get pretty excited because there's such a brotherhood there, and they're so systemized in their approach, and the mental toughness is supreme. It's unbelievable what they go through. So, I think developing the team members, and that brings me to the next point, where, we want team members with initiative who take on big responsibilities. That's really, I don't want to micromanage. I've no interest. I really want to create autonomy within the group. And I think one of the questions that I ask is, I said, how would you feel if I just didn't show up on a Monday morning for a whole week? And I sort of got put in my place, and I got told that, hey, I think we'd be fine. And that was an encouragement. That was something that, I'd been working on for a long time. And you want to think that you're making a difference, but for us business owners, all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, but I can't let go. And so, I might surprise them one day and show up or not show up and just send them a text and go, I'm off. I'm not coming back for a week and a half or 2 weeks, and we'll see, won't we? So I think ultimately, I think as a summary, there's for you as a business owner, I really honestly think that you can do well. I got a guy who we've had on this podcast before, way back in the beginning. I think we did a 2 or 3 part podcast with Tony, and I was just reading his book again, and he talked about how he took a business from 12 million to 565 million in a fairly quick time. It might have been 5 years or something, and he had all the trimmings of success. The thing he said that suffered was relationships and health. And you just know, and I think today he's actually, I think he's a fitness instructor or something, and he looks really good for a guy that's maybe mid-50s or late 50s. I apologize if I got that wrong, Tone. But, I think we've got to understand that it's not just about creating the external appearance of success, but understand that a lot of happiness for us, or for me, true fulfillment comes in helping other human beings. It's just the way it is. We all like to do something nice, and the feeling that it gives us when we've held that door for that person, or we've been able to pay for the person's Starbucks in the drive-through behind us, or whatever the case may be. There's something there that you can't bottle, that's not tangible. You just know when you've done it right, it really does. It really makes you feel a lot better. Too many guys and gals perhaps get caught up in spending money that they don't have on things they don't need to impress people who actually don't give a shit. And, I've been through those phases to the point where at this stage of my life, I was prepared to drive a 2002 pickup truck because I just didn't give a rat's ass. But because of the way the business goes, and because we are dealing with, people that do, they put a lot of value on your appearance. They tend to, value that. I was required to upgrade that vehicle. So it was under duress that I moved in that direction. Look, I think just to finish off, I want to just, when we're talking about, and we've talked about our staff mostly, we're not talking about profit, although that's definitely a part of high performance building companies. We want to make sure that we're giving something for our communities and our clients to talk about, and we want to make a positive social impact on our staff. I think a couple of things as you recruit more staff, and as you have dealings with subcontractors, you need people in your workplace. There's 4 things that I'm going to close out with here. The core skills that are needed in your workplace if you're going to develop a very happy culture and a productive environment is you've got to have people that are problem solvers. If you get people there that are just thumb suckers and don't particularly engage and don't come to you with a couple of options, hey, I'm facing this, I think we could do this or that. You need people that are going to think outside the box a little bit. That's super important. I think the leadership component within each of our staff members needs to be at the top of or at the front of their mind. Individually, but then corporately as well. So, I talk to my staff about, the way they think about the business, and then of course the impact that they potentially have on both our clients and also our franchised operators. There is a bar, there's a benchmark that's set, as far as positivity and optimism and things like that. And I encourage all of my staff to not embrace negativity and pessimism. It doesn't help anybody. It creates negative vibes. And so that really is leadership, both personally, and I could be a good business leader, but if I'm just a prick of a person, then it's never, ever going to fly. There's got to be both an individual responsibility that's observed and also a corporate responsibility there as well, and how they can impact the rest of the team. Thoughtfulness, I think there's a lot of things that we do in the business, and like I said before, the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. There's things that I do impromptu or spontaneously that it's just like, I feel like, and this is where intuition is definitely an asset of mine. It's something that I listen to all of the time. It's something where I give space and time for that intuition to talk to me as well. But thoughtfulness around what we can do differently. This comes back to the out of the box thinking. What can we do to impact, or what can we do to get people talking? All of the promotions and a lot of the gift giving that we do, and a lot of the giveaways that we present, there's really no return that we're expecting. There is no expectation that we have. It's just something that we go out and do. And I think that's thoughtfulness, and it really does make for a happy workplace and a productive and ultimately a profitable workplace. So this is all connected. And the final thing is core skills is it needs to be some entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm not saying that, you've got to go and recruit all these highfalutin business people. I think you can get good members to work on your team that have an entrepreneurial spirit. I think that if you find people that just want to be spoon-fed and they're the ones that, well, what do you want me to do now? They're probably not going to fit with you, especially because the thing is, you as the leader of this business, being a purebred entrepreneur and somebody that eats and drinks and breathes the business. I think I was out of the office maybe 1 or 2 days over the Christmas break, and it wasn't anything that I was really busy working. Something I talk about often is Warren Buffett says that business owners in American business just don't take time out to think about their business, and over the Christmas and New Year's break was a great time where I could just come in and ponder, think about the year in retrospectively, and then think about how we're going to sort of launch into the new year and what are the goals that we want to hit and things like that. So that's very, that's purebred entrepreneur. That's what we should be doing. but having people in your business that actually assimilate with that or identify with that, maybe appreciate that, they're the people that you can take with you. I think that when you start operating at a certain speed as a business owner, some people will get left behind. It's just part and parcel of business development. The ones that be able to maintain pace with you, they're probably doing that because they have that level of entrepreneurial spirit. And so, we're committed to building a group of accomplished business owners, general contractors that do develop high performance businesses that do really benefit from, the work that they've put in and the businesses that they've developed. And so, we want to see more and more of that, and we are seeing that. We've had one guy that was doing 150 grand a year before he joined us, and last year he did something like 700,000. So, I'm starting to see, the impact and the difference that we're making, and not just on their bottom line, but in the community that they're operating in and in the people that they're attracting to them. So, hope that's been helpful. If you've got any questions or queries, you can text us on 250-241-8866. You can email me at max@businessforbuilders.ca. You can like and subscribe and comment, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. But make sure that you're building a kick-ass business. See you next time.